Hi, I'm Hamish McLachlan, and a big thanks for watching The Last Time I Cried, brought to you by AIA Vitality. Tom Boyd, a young man who seemingly had everything going for him. #1 draft pick, big contract at the Western Bulldogs, premiership hero. But internally, he was miserable. Tom explained how bad things got for him in 2017 before he was forced to walk away from the game he loved as a child.
I swear, this might be just completely misremembered, but I swear it was when I was like 7. I was like, I'm going to be an AFL player. Always loved footy, and I think one of the sad things about my story is how my brain got in the way of the sort of joy of it over time, because I knew I was really good, so I knew I could turn it into a career.
Tommy, when was the last time you cried?
I'm not a physical crier per se, but I remember the last time where I was so distraught and I didn't know what was going to happen next, and that was, I think it was something like the 4th of July 2017. It was 2 days before I took time off. I'm not 100% sure that's the right date, but I was sitting there and I'd been having real issues with insomnia for a number of weeks at that stage. And what they get you to do with insomnia is, firstly, they medicate you. And generally that's not enjoyable because some of the sleeping medication is so powerful that in the morning when you wake up, you feel so bad and so almost hungover from the effects of the medicine that it's not necessarily a better option than not sleeping. The other one they do is they get you to sit in a chair next to your bed. They say, sit in the chair until you start dozing off. Get into bed, get out of bed. If you can't sleep, just repeat that. It's part of just trying to bore your brain to sleep. Now, on that Tuesday, I'd kind of gotten to the end of my tether. I didn't have any. I'd missed a couple of games playing, but it was essentially all stemmed from not being able to sleep. And I was sitting there at my house in Albert Park, middle of winter, July blues, like every footy year is. And I was sitting there and I couldn't understand, I couldn't possibly comprehend why I was feeling so terrible about myself. Because I looked across my life and I had a beautiful partner, who's now my fiancée, Anna. She was the most supportive person going around. I had a new dog, beautiful Labrador, Nala. It was a great part of my life. I had an amazing family who did everything they possibly could to support me. And I was living in a beautiful part of the world. I was getting paid $1 million a year, playing the dream job that everyone has always said, this is what you want to do. And everyone in my life is telling me how good I've got it. And I'm just absolutely 100% miserable. So I'm sitting there and I'm trying to work out what I'm doing next. And there's not an amazing amount of positive thoughts going through my head at this time, as you can imagine. And I kind of got to the stage where I worked out a couple of things. The first thing was that I couldn't play on the weekend. It wasn't going to be possible. My body wasn't going to handle it. And my mind couldn't handle it either. And I couldn't go on that merry-go-round that I'd been going on. And the second thing was that if I didn't get help, or I didn't change some things, if something didn't give, it was going to be, I didn't know what was going to happen next. So, the first time in my life, and I'd been seeing Lisa, my psychologist previously, but the first time in my life I actually called her and I specifically asked for help. I said, Lisa, I can't play on the weekend. I can't do it. And of course, her being her, one of the most amazing people in my life, she said, how can I help? And that was the moment, the first moment, and in that hour, felt like eternity. I've never felt so terrible about myself and so just generally terrible and unsure about my future. But the one thing that I did was that I actually made the effort, made the decision to get someone to help me get through that time. And I can honestly say if I didn't, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know what would have happened next. So that was the last time where I felt so hopeless that I couldn't comprehend doing anything good ever happening in my life. And that was some 2.5 years ago, almost. And it's been sort of a general uphill slope since then, which has been great. But I'll never forget that day, because at the end of the day, at the end of my story, for all the good things that have happened and all the bad things that happened, if I hadn't have made that choice then to ask for some help, I'm not sure what the next chapter would have been. So that was the hardest day of my life.
When you put it all together, I've got an unbelievable girlfriend I'm going to marry, in a great house, in a great country, healthy, earning well, sport I love, cannot feel worse about myself. Where am I?
But this is the whole point, isn't it? It's not, no one is immune, and it's not proportional to your life. Some of the most powerful, brilliant people in the world have had so many issues in this area. We lose one every year. Every year we lose one across entertainment, business, sport, whatever it is, we lose one, at least, because this stuff doesn't see career. It's all grey. But people, it's people. They'll deal with it in some way, shape or form. So it's an important part of my story. It's a really important part, because at the end of the day, I would love to help every single person in the world. But if the choice that I made to actually open up and ask someone to help me, and I was lucky I had someone as equipped as Lisa, but asking anyone for help, that's the difference between, the worst case scenario and something better in a lot of cases. This is not me who came up with this story. Matthew McConaughey does a great speech about someone asking him, who's my hero, or who's your hero? And he says, and he thinks for a bit and he goes, well, it's going to be me in 10 years' time. And so 10 years passes, and at least in the story, he says the same person comes up and asks him, who's your hero? What was it like to meet him? He goes, no, that guy's not my hero. The guy in 10 years is my hero. And that's the whole progression, the idea around moving forward every day in some way, shape or form, and over time accumulating that progression into being a better person, a better father, a friend, better at business, whatever it is, whatever part of your life. It's just about not staying still.
That whole evolution piece, at 7 or 8, you say to yourself, I want to be a professional footballer. You get drafted at 1, you're a professional footballer. Within a year, you're thinking, I don't want to be a professional footballer. At 24, you're not a professional footballer. You're sitting on a ballet floor with me, as happy as you've ever been, after going through hell.
Well, I tell you what, my story has never been boring. And in many cases, particularly in the AFL world, it's very unique. So for that, I have no apologies. I think over time, people try to put me in a box always, because it's easy to deal with people when they pigeonhole. He's a footballer, or he's a high-paid footballer, whatever it is. And consistently and constantly, without trying, I've bucked the trend, done things differently, not because I wanted to be different, just because I was trying to be who I was, and I was trying to work out who I was. Now I can be myself all the time and act accordingly, participate in life accordingly, and it's so satisfying. So satisfying not being sort of tried to squeeze everyone into a profile that doesn't fit a lot of people. That's where I got my identity crisis from, I think, to a degree. So now I have the option to choose.
Good to see you happy.